But if you remember, we're in the middle of we began yesterday a new subject right at the end of yesterday's class, and the subject is the argument between Shammai and Hillel, how exactly you light the Chanuka candles. Both of them agree that you light um, 8 candles, not just one. And according to the letter of the law, you can light just one candle every night. The last night of Hanukkah, you can light one candle. That's enough. One candle. Like on Shabbat or the holidays, you light just one candle, like 2 candles. But you keep the same number all the time. But according to Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel, you change the number of, of candles to correspond with the 8 days. But Shammai says you begin with 8 candles, and every night you take one away. And Hillel says you start with one candle, and every night you add on one, and that's the law. That's what we do. That's the law. Okay, why, first of all, do we even light 8 candles? Why 8 candles? Because the miracle was 8 days. Good. Okay, the miracle was 8 days, but there was only, this is a, we're lighting to, as a remembrance of the miracle that was done in the Holy Temple. In the Holy Temple, there was only 7 candles. So maybe light 7 candles every night. Every single night, light it, 7 candles, right? Or the first night, light one candle, and the last night, light 7 candles, and the night after that, right? Then you light 7 candles, and then the night after that, also light seven, right? 7 candles. Why do you? Where did you get the number 8 from? Why 8 numbers? Well, if there was 8 days, eight holiday, 8 days, but the candles in the Holy Temple were only 7. Okay, so now we're going to see why. This lighting of the candles that was in the Holy Temple, and again, why was there a temple at all? The temple was to give us a little taste of the world to come. The world to come, this world, physical world, is going to be infinitely higher and holier and more real than all the upper heavens that there are, to the degree that even all the souls are going to come back into bodies. The body is going to be higher than the soul. There'll be new bodies made, remade or whatever. But in any case, this physical world. So here we had a little taste of pure godliness in this physical world. The temple wasn't just something that held us over until we wouldn't need a temple anymore, or until everybody went to heaven and we're all dancing together in heaven. The temple was an example of the goal of mankind. The goal of mankind is that this world should reflect, the essence of God and the essence of God's pleasure, this physical world. So there were all these aspects in the temple which illustrated this, because when nowadays, what do? People feel responsible. A human being is, the essence of a human being is responsibility. He feels responsible for something. He's here for some reason. Everybody here feels they're here for some reason or other. And if they don't feel any reason, then you get all these weird, meaningless philosophies, and you get depression and licentiousness and all this stuff. So what are we here for? So we're here to improve reality. What is reality? So we feel real reality is ourselves. That in the future, we'll feel that the reality is really our creator. And we'll feel that we're being created. That's what our reality is. And everyone will feel responsibility to the creator. Instead of feeling responsibility to yourself, to make money and to this, you'll feel that also. But it'll be in a bigger set of reality that you're making money in order to serve the creator. You're eating food in order to serve the creator. You have a house and a family and a car in order to serve the creator. That's what's going to be in the future. Okay, so in the Holy Temple, there was 7 candles, and this 7 candles represented that our 7 emotions that we have should be utilized to serve the creator. Should be for the creator. Okay, so it says, this is the idea. In the Holy Temple, there was 7 candles that they lit. Okay. So this is the inyan of the lighting of the candles in the Holy Temple were only 7. Who connected this corresponds to the 7 levels which are in the general service and servants of God. There's some people who serve God from love, some from fear, some from balance, from mercy, from awe, the different aspects of the soul. Yeshav is some love. Some people serve God from love. Some serve God from fear. 7 emotions. And this comes from what's called the 7 shepherds, which nourish the which nourish our connection to God, all the souls of the Jewish people. Let me make this a little bit bigger so that I can read it. Here we go. 1 minute. Where is this? Oh, I gotta go to the top. Excuse me 1 minute. Here we go. Here. 1 second. I overdid it. Did it too much. Here we go. Even though that each one receives from all of the 7 shepherds of the Jewish people. What 7 shepherds of the Jewish people is Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Here we have Abraham. Usually it corresponds to the 7. Okay, anyway, 7 they call guests that come into the sukkah. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, or some people say Shlomo and David. Nevertheless, Yesh mi shebechinazug over is more. There's some people that have more of a tendency to serve God from love. Some are more like Abraham. They receive more from Yitzchak, etc. Okay, then we have nowadays we light the 8 candles. Why 8? The 8 that corresponds to 8 other more mysterious heroes in Judaism. And just like the 7, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, etc., they opened up doors for serving God and inspire us to certain types of service of God. Also, what's called the 8 anointed men. Anointed men, like it's written in the prophet Micha. It says Asher. It said Sheva Roim, that there will be. It's look over there in the prophet Micha. It says there will be 7 shepherds and 8 anointed men. In the Gemara, in Talmud, in Sukkah, it explains who they are. Page Nun Beit. So who are the 7 shepherds? Avram, Yitzchak, Avram. It says over there, Avram, Yaakov, Moshe. Okay, it says Avram, Yaakov, Moshe, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron. Just the same, like I said, the same ones that come into the Sukkah. And that's what it explains. And the 8 anointed men are unusual ones. Yishai, the father of King David. Shaul, King Saul. Remember that King David, he had they wanted to kill King David all the time. Moshiach is one of them. Elijah the prophet is another one. The 8 anointed men. Okay, what has this got to do with us? Now again, these are men that devoted themselves so totally to the Creator and doing what the Creator wants in this world, perfecting this world, that they opened up doors to being aware of God in the future. So there's the 7 shepherds. They opened up doors to serving God now, and the 8 are a higher type of service of God. And we'll see what this is. Excuse me. And it is like this. Roa, a shepherd, Yeshbo Beis Pirushim, it has 2 meanings. Right? We have the 7 shepherds and the 8 anointed men. The fact these 7 shepherds of the Jewish people, one is Mefarnes Lacherim, a shepherd, Ra'enu Zonenu. Like we say to God, God, you are our shepherd. Doesn't mean that you lead us. It means that a shepherd brings the sheep to good food. The food is called mir'eh. Food is even called, the shepherd food, shepherding or something. I don't know if there's how you can translate it into English, but One thing of a shepherd is he brings this flock to eat. The second one is uro'eh et atzmo. Like it says, v'atonot ro'ot al yudeim. It means to graze. Ro'eh means to graze. Right? You take your sheep to graze. When the sheep are grazing, it means that they are ro'im, they are eating. So one meaning of ro'eh means to bring the sheep to eat, and the other one means that the sheep themselves eat. So it means to do something to someone else, and ro'eh also means to yourself. Also in the Gemara, ro'eh besodos, was that a person he gets provisions from other people's fields or whatever. So ro'eh means to graze, to eat, for yourself to eat, to nourish yourself, and it also means ro'eh means to nourish others. The Cain Binyan also the same thing of the 7 shepherds, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, etc. There's these 2 aspects. They feed the Jewish people. Avram gives love, like we said before, Avram Ohavi, that he implants Sheshorsho, that his source is from Chesed Elyon, from God's kindness. That's his nature. Shu b'chinas ava, that's love. Umashpia b'chinas zeh, l'chinas Yisrael, and he gives this. Moses, he gives what's called dat. Chachma bina dat. Just like some people are born talented. They bring music into the world. Some people are talented scientists. Some people are talented. And they open up new doors for music, for science, etc. Well, these 7 shepherds, they opened up new doors for different ways of serving God. The Nikor Raya Mehemna. That's what, like Moses, for instance, he's called the faithful shepherd. Why? Because he mefarnes et amuna, that he fed everyone faith. Al yedei shamamshich dat Hashem. So Moses provided, right? He himself had this aspect. That's what a ro'eh is. But also he provided for others. The Yaakov, he gave what's called mercy. But behold, al yedei means of this, that they provide, they nourish the Jewish people. They nourish the Jewish people with these different aspects of love and fear of God and mercy, feeling God's mercy and connection to God. That's Moshe. By means of this, as this also increases their aspects also gamke. Because it's known that Ein Sof Baruch Hu, because the essence of God, which is totally above time or space or consciousness or any of the worlds, any sort of existence, Maruma Misnasa Le'en Kates. God is infinitely higher than even the highest aspect of the 10 Sfirot, which is called Chachma, and the emotions. Ka'omer, like it says, the Lav Mikol Ilan Milos Kalal, that God is not measurable at all. God is not in any category, even in the category of love, fear, etc. In order to draw this down into the Jewish people, or in Sof, that we can appreciate God, and we Jewish people appreciate God, that brings the whole entire world to appreciate God. This is Kafum of Deon, the B'nai Nash. This is according to what we do. So it's a two-way street. First of all, God gives inspiration to Moses, or to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob. They give that over to the Jewish people. When the Jewish people utilize this and it wakes up their love of God, their connection to God, their awareness about these aspects that Moses and the others give them, when they use this, then that gives inspiration also to Moses and the others, which also gives more inspiration to God to give more. By means of the arousal from below of the Jewish people, Be'ava, love, azai, then kamayim upon him, then reflecting waters is drawn down nilamaila from above. Also, revelation. In other words, God reacts to what we do in kind. What we love, we provide love for God, so God gives us more love. We have awe for God. God gives us more awe, more. It reveals His awesomeness. That's his love and his kindness, Leos Avti Etchem, so that God loves us even more, and he shows that love. The Nimsa Shel comes down, Al Yadei, by means of the 7 shepherds, they give love and fear to the Jewish people. By means of this, love and fear arouses in the Jewish people, draws down extra love and fear, extra light and revelation of God into the emotions, upper emotions. And that was the thing of the Holy Temple. When we served God, so God became more available in the world, and the world became a better world. There were less thoughts of of thievery and murder and depression and aggression and all these. She'em shorish bechinas aroim. That's the idea of the upper aspects of God, which are the source of these shepherds of the Jewish people. If so, heim mefarnasim al yedei mitparnasim. So therefore, the shepherds they nourish the Jewish people, but they're also nourished by the Jewish people. When the Jewish people take their lesson, they're nourished by them. That's what it means. Achlu reim. That's what it means. Eat. Friends, partake. She'em ro'im. That's when it means the re'im means friends, but it also means the ro'im, means the shepherds. That we feed the shepherds, so to speak. She'em ra'im lamakom. That they are friends to God, and they also are shepherds to God, so to speak. They provide God with inspiration, and God then reacts and gives them. And also there is also another level of the Jewish people, Yisrael Mefarnasim Shemayim, like it says that just like these people, these shepherds and leaders, they nourish the Jewish people with more inspiration to love, fear, etc. It says Yisrael Mefarnasim Lavim Shemayim, that we feed our Father in heaven, we feed God. What does it mean? That we can draw down godliness to be in a way of kamare adam, like the face of a person. Right? That's the vision that is Isaiah saw it and Ezekiel saw it. They saw sitting on a throne the appearance of a person. What does it mean? That by means of the Torah. The Torah, it contains in it 613 commandments, 365 prohibitions, and 248 the commandments, things we have to do. That corresponds to human 248 limbs and 365 blood vessels. What exactly they are, to this day, I don't know. But there are. It's repeated over and over in Chassidut. I've asked a lot of people, so we have to take it that there are. I mean, the heart is one of them, and the eyes are one of them, etc. Like it says, Lachu lachmi v'lachmi. So nevertheless, the Torah provides food. The Torah is in the center of this whole business. The Torah is what's called the bread of God. And it's our bread. When we learn the Torah, it nourishes us, and it also, so to speak, nourishes God, kiviyachol, means so to speak. I mean, we're talking about God like he's a person, but of course, which God is not a person. But on the other hand, God certainly is a person. We talk to God, we ask God for things, we pray to God for things. We see in the Torah, God has conversations with Adam, with Noah, with Bilam, right? He has conversations. So God is talking to these people. What this means, I mean, on one hand, we have to say it really happened. God actually spoke to Bilam and to Lavan and to Moshe. He spoke over and over again. God is speaking. So if God spoke, it must be that God has a mouth, and God must have a tongue. And God, I mean, we're made in God's image. So we have tongue and we have a mouth. So God has a mouth. On the other hand, God forbid, we can't say that's blasphemy. What are you talking about? God is a person. God is a mouth. God is a tongue. How can that possibly be? So God does, of course, have a tongue, and God does have a mouth, but it's spiritual. In fact, it's more than spiritual. The source of the spiritual. So what we're dealing with, we don't understand. But what we do understand is that we are very, very important to God, infinitely more important to God than is imaginable. Infinitely more important to God, every human being. Infinitely important to God, every single human being. More important than the angels and all the upper worlds and all the Kabbalistic levels. We're tremendously important to God. And therefore, what we do has an effect on God. That's what he says. We provide power to God, so to speak. Just like by means of that's like that, and that's what the Torah. The Torah, for instance, God gave the Torah to the Jewish people. He spoke these words to Moses. The Jewish people saw God. It says their souls jumped out of their bodies. And the Torah is called bread. Just like bread enlivens a person, it joins the soul with the body. The same thing is the infinite light of God by means of the Torah. The Torah is God's upper wisdom. So we have the 7 shepherds. They encourage our emotional service of God and essentially emotional service of God. And then we have the Torah, that the Torah is the source of the whole entire business, source of all the emotions. It's called God's upper wisdom. In the 10 Sfirot, the emotions are the 7 lower ones, and Chachma is the top. That's the top. That's not an emotion. It's the top of awareness, intellect. Then in it, then Chachma, in human personality, it corresponds to faith. Faith, something, connection to something which is totally above our understanding. So this aspect is also in God, and this is where Ein Sof is. Chachma is, so to speak, the beginning of creation at the highest levels of spiritual creation. That's Chachma. Chachma of Atzilut, whatever. Chachma of Ak, Adam Kadmon. Well, it says that's where the infinite light of God is found in this aspect of Chachma. By means of this is drawn down into the emotions, like we said before. That's the source of the emotions, the God's right arm, God's left arm, etc., and is drawn from this food to the soul. That's the Torah, like it says, Torah b'toch me'ai. The King David said, "Your Torah is in my intestines, my stomach." Somebody asked me, they wrote me a letter. It's very interesting. They wrote me a comment on one of the YouTube. We put these classes up on YouTube. People comment. So one person said, I said that, until about 300 years ago, all the Jewish people were religious. All the Jewish people did the commandments. There were exceptions. Until 300 years ago, then they started the intellectual movement with Moses Mendelssohn and all these people. And they started saying God doesn't exist, or that God is like, is a general God. He doesn't care about the commandments, the Torah. But before that, every Jew believed in the Torah and the commandments. Every Jew, of course, every people are individuals, but 99.99% of the Jews, they kept Chabad, and they also did sins. They also had natural, they had temptations and things like that. But as far as the commandments they did. So somebody said, how can you say a stupid thing like that? I mean, people are human beings. Everybody's going to be religious. Here we see in the world, there's all these different religions, and some people want to be Buddhist, some people want to be this, that. All the Jews did all the commandments. And so I said, no, the difference is that Jews are essentially connected to the commandments. The commandments are not an additional thing to my humanity. It's not a take it or leave it thing. The Jews are chosen by God. The Jews are called the sons of God. The Jews are called the wife of God. The Jews are called the servants of God. God called them these things. And the Jews were taken from from Egypt. God picked the Jews to take them from Egypt. Not that we picked God. God picked us. He chose us. He gave us. He made us